Hello, my name is Athenia Rodney, CEO and founder of Juneteenth NYC. This is a special invitation for you to attend with Juneteenth NY. We're thrilled to announce that this year's celebration promises to be bigger and better than ever before. Join us for an unforgettable experience filled with a wide array of exciting performances, delightful vendors, mouth-watering food trucks and vendors, an exclusive fashion show, a rally at Barclays Steps, a free bus ride with health drink tastings. Don't miss that. For those of you with little ones, don't worry, we've got you covered also. Juneteenth NY 2023 is the event for all ages. We'll be featuring a dedicated kids zone so that your young ones can join in on the fun. So why wait? Grab your free tickets. Yes, free. It doesn't cost anything, but we do need you to register so that we can prepare for the amount of people that will be in attendance on the weekend. So we look forward for you to go to our website at www.juneteenthny.com, or you can go to our Instagram at JuneteenthNY, like us, follow us, engage with our page. We love to see you participating. It warms my heart. Trust me, it does. And then go to our link tree and you'll get a direct link to register. This will be a monumental occasion. We can't wait to see you there. Thank you and have a good one.
Good afternoon, community. Welcome back to our next segment. This segment, we'll be talking with Madam Money, aka Tara Jackson. We'll be discussing the 4 financial languages. It's the name of her book, and it's a way of being that that she believes in and that she fully supports and is here to teach us all about today. Hey, Tara, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm really good. Just excited to be here today and excited to be here talking with you. I was all up in your Instagram page and checking you out and seeing who you are. And I saw that it's important to you to educate the community on just everything that we need to know about finances. And that you've written this amazing book called The 4 Financial Love Languages. Love languages, there I go.
It's based off of the same concept.
I was just going to say, because when you first said it, I was like, yes, I'm super excited to have this conversation because of the 4 agreements. And I just know how profoundly that's affected my life. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to get another set of gems. Yes. I'm here for it. And I hope the community, and I know the community is here for it as well. So before we dive into the 4 financial languages, I would love for you to share with the community a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you've been up to, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, well, I am a wonderfully, fearfully made and peculiar single mother of an amazing 27-year-old young man, I guess. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a former banking executive. I ran a financial institution for a few years. Been executive branch of financial institutions, credit unions specifically, throughout my career. And one of the things that I have done is experience major money mistakes. And so my passion has always been to provide the information in a way that it's fun and impactful, so that those that have made those mistakes know that there's a resurrection after, or life after, or if they can avoid the major money mistakes I've made, doing that and just doing it in a way that can make you laugh, that can make you think, and make you move a little bit towards your financial goals.
Wow, I absolutely love that. I'm thinking that most of the people that I've ever known that consider themselves to be, one of those words for me, peculiar, they are very fun typically. So it would kind of make sense that those 2 words would end up being in the same paragraph used by you. So financial fornication, that's your first book, baby. Can you share a little bit about that before we dive into where we are now?
Yeah, that was the first introduction to me talking about money. What I realized is that people, I had a lot of clients that were celebrities. A lot of the housewives at the time, a few of them were my clients. And so when I decided to watch the housewives, because I don't watch reality TV, right? I realized that on these reality TV shows, they were okay with talking about relationships, who they slept with, who they wanted to sleep with, and all of that stuff. But nobody wanted to talk about their crappy credit. Nobody wanted to talk about the fact that they didn't really have any savings, that the houses weren't really theirs. You know, that they didn't want to really talk about the real stuff financially. And then what really hit me was when Hardee's did a sexy campaign, right? So Hardee's did a sexy campaign with they're selling a burger, but they used half naked women with bathing suits on top of cars, pouring water all over them just to bite into a burger to sell a burger. Now they were banned after a while. The sexy campaign was banned, but that made me realize that if sex can sell a cheeseburger, it can probably sell financial literacy, right? So people like to talk about relationships. So I figured I would talk about financial relationships, how we're financially promiscuous with credit cards, sometimes multiple credit cards. Don't judge us, you know? And then we end up with financial STDs, substantially tremendous debt, you know, and then babies hurt. So I figured if I'm dealing with them, somebody else is dealing with them. So I teach people the cures of those financial diseases and teach you how to date your bank. It's just like dating a man or a woman. There's 5 phases to it. And if you skip some of those phases, you'll get in a financially abusive relationship and you might get your assets kicked. I said asset. So, you know, I figured if we can giggle a little and we can relate to it, we can learn and move on with the conversation. So that was just the first book was my freshman book. It was start the conversation about how money is very similar to our physical and our emotional relationships and how we can cure those and have really, really pleasurable financial relationships.
Wow.
And I guess that's why
Wow.
I'm running out of money.
Listen, that is divine. You know, right now you are speaking my language and I'm like, I wish you could teach me literally every conversation about finances through your lens, because the way my mind is able to even wrap around it in that fun way. I am laughing on the inside. My belly is like getting that little feeling that you get when you have that deep belly laugh, but you know, try to keep the face. So I have that deep belly laugh feeling, but I also have what I feel is like a heightened registering of what you're talking about right now.
Mhm.
Like it's hitting different. It's hitting way different than when I'm sitting with someone having a super financial conversation, because as I shared in one of the other segments, whenever it comes to finances, just my story about finances, it kind of takes me into a shutdown mode sometimes.
Right.
So I'm in this space in my life where it's like, okay, I can't afford to live in that space anymore, because we all know what happens when you shut down. Life passes you by and you drown. So not trying to do that. So it's almost like you are a gift from God. Right
So
now.
what if you made the change because you wanted to, not because you feel like you have to? Like if we feel like I have to go to the gym, right? I
Yeah.
have to go to the gym. I need to lose weight, you know. I'm a big girl, I like to eat. But you know, for health's sake and all that stuff, I have to go to the gym. Now, what if someone made it really fun for me to do something? Now I want to work out. Don't necessarily have to go to the gym, but now I want to work out, and the gym may be a part of that. My motivation is different. My eagerness to do it, my excitement to do it is different. And so that's all I'm trying to do is change the motivation. Instead of that, you have to think about your future, and because you do. But you know, honestly, my future self, her name is Juanita. Juanita wants to travel and have a young boyfriend, whether she's married or not. Don't judge me, okay? And so in order for Juanita to be able to travel with her young boyfriend, she's going to need some money. In order for her to have money, Tara has got to spend money on saving and investing so that Juanita can live her best life.
I love that. I was just sitting here thinking that this list of goals that I've written down, it's like, I want to do this because I want those things. And in order to have those things, yeah, it does definitely shift the energy, and it definitely changes the narrative of that story that I have around money and how it actually impacts me. Even so, I'm a very into physical reactions to things, your conversations, traumas, things like that. And right now, my body having this conversation is here for it. It's not doing its normal, like, belly. Yeah, it's not doing that right now. It's like, I'm here to play, almost like a kid. I have like a kid energy about it where it's like, I really am just eager to know more. So let's start to shift over to the 4 financial languages. I'm going to give you the floor. I don't want to direct how you introduce that because you're just so masterful at what you do. I'm just going to let you share.
Sure. So the 4 financial languages is saving, spending, investing, and giving, right? So we all have a dominant financial language. Just like if we were born in the United States, our dominant language is probably English, right? It doesn't mean that we don't know Spanish. It doesn't mean we don't know Greek or German or whatever. Our dominant financial language is English. That's what we were born and that's what we learned, how to speak English. Some households, you learned how to speak Spanish, right? Some people just brought it on themselves and said, I want to learn this language, and they learned it, right? But your dominant financial language is, you can identify that if I gave you $1 million and nobody else knew about it, it's just me and you, and I'm not telling anybody, but you got $1 million dropped into your bank account right now, what's the first thing you would want to do that would bring you joy? Not what you have to do, not what you should do, not what the Bible says do, not what the parents say do, not what the financial advisors say do. What is it that you want to do? Are you going to put some aside and save a portion of it? Are you going to spend some of it, YOLO? Are you going to invest some in stocks or real estate or what businesses or whatever? Or are you going to give to the needy or give to the church or whatever? What's the first thing you innately want to do that's going to bring you the most joy? Not to say that you're not going to do everything, right? Usually, if that's the first thing you want to do, that's your dominant financial language. My dominant financial language is spending. I already know yours is spending. Just how you were talking, I'm like, she's a spender like me. Okay. And I tell people all the time, spenders, we're special, we're different, but we're petty, call me Petty LaBelle. You don't tell a spender not to spend their money because they'll spend their money, your money, and everybody else's money, right? So you just some things you don't do. You don't tell a saver to spend because they're going to hoard their money and hide it from you. And they'll always claim broke because they're afraid the spender is going to spend their money, or they're afraid the investor is going to invest all their money and lose it. Investors, they want to see a return on investment, whether it's through money, whether it's through people, whether it's through energy, whether it's through conversation. They want a return on their investment. And givers, they are philanthropists. They want to give. How can I help? They are resources. The first thing they'll do is they'll give to someone. They'll give to a family member. They'll give to their family. They'll give, but they forget sometimes that they have to put their financial oxygen mask on first. And the people that they're giving to won't always be there to save them when they need it. So they have to save, spend, and invest on themselves first so they can give more in the future.
Ooh, that's powerful. I'll definitely be purchasing both of these books. So, question for you. I kind of want to move through the different pieces. So what do you find are some of the things that people should kind of like, not wanting to give away too many nuggets, because we definitely want them to give the book, and you definitely gave us a nice overview of that just now. But what do you find, actually, instead of going that way, what do you find some of the biggest challenges are within the community for people to shift their language?
Well, the biggest challenge is that they don't know their language, right? And that they're trying to figure out a language that they are not, that they don't know, and they're asking the wrong people, right? They asking Nene and them, or they asking Mama, or they asking, don't be mad. I have a cousin named Nene. Okay, so shout out to Nene. But Nene didn't go to school for finances, right? And so they're afraid to speak with the professionals because they feel like they don't have enough money. Okay, or they feel like they're going to be judged. Most spenders won't speak with a financial advisor because they feel like they're going to be judged because they're spenders. And what I have to make people realize is that a saver is not better than a spender or an investor or a giver. We're all the same, right? The only thing that makes it bad is excess, because you can over save and hoard all your money and not enjoy life, not invest for the future, and not give back, because the law of prosperity is you must give in order to receive, right? You can overspend and spend all your money. You can overinvest and lose all your money, and you can overgive and give all your money away. So it's about excess. So I can't judge you if you are a saver or an investor. What I need to do is understand what your language is, what your triggers are, and learn how to speak in your language, right? So that serves two purposes. One purpose is now we can have a better conversation because I understand what you're saying and I can communicate with you. Two, I'm learning another language so that new language will serve me when I need it to serve me. Okay, so let me give you an example. A spender and an investor. In order for me to get an investor to spend money, I have to understand investor language. I need to understand their triggers. Their triggers are return on investment. They need a lot of information. They ask a lot of questions. Do not ignore them. And they're active learners. So if they want to figure something out, they will do that. They're brilliant with that, right? I need to understand that and be able to have answers for my investor. I need to tell them what the return on investment is. If we want to purchase this thing, this is what the return on investment is going to be, and all of that. Once I understand it, but me personally, now when I need to think about Juanita, I understand a little bit of the language of investing. So now I can have a conversation about investing because I've learned a new language. So think of it this way: someone speaking Spanish, another person speaking Greek. They may say, I love you, but they're saying in two different languages, there's a miscommunication. So one of them or both of them are gonna have to learn how to speak in each other's language so that they can have a fruitful, communicative relationship. It's the same thing with money.
I love that. And we spoke about it a little bit beforehand. Could you share the different type of relationships that this could impact? It's so that people can have an idea of like what using this looks like, not just with their one-on-one partners. Yeah.
So most people think it's just for couples, married couples, or if you have a significant other, which, most of the time it is for people that are dealing with other people, with couples, but you could be single. And so you being fiscally bilingual, when you meet someone that's an opposite or a different financial language than you, you'll now have a better understanding of how to communicate before you get into that relationship. Because one of the main reasons why people get divorced is because of money miscommunication, dollar disagreements, budget battles. You know what I mean? And so if you are able to speak in different financial languages, that's going to help you with learning how to communicate with your new partner. It could be a parent and a child relationship, teaching that child about money and then understanding what their financial language is so that you can communicate to them or teach them multiple languages, right? It could be a business partner relationship. One of the hardest business partner relationships is one person's a spender, one person's a saver, or one person's a saver and one person's an investor. And so those conversations can get very, very heightened, if you will, if you do not know how to communicate with each other. And that causes a lot of conflict. That's why partnerships dissolve, because they're not agreeing about the money with that. So it's not just about married couples or people with significant others. It could be single people, parents, friends, roommates, anyone that you're going to deal with money with or communicate about money with. It's always good to understand different financial languages. And I call that being fiscally bilingual.
That's beautiful. I think about, we have an emergence of groups of people that are coming together to source and co-op resources. So that's another place it's like a new tool to me. I'm like, whoa, I got a new tool in my tool bag. And I can't wait to read all of the in-depth, because I'm sure that it's gonna blow my mind when I read the full book, if this is what's happening right here. So I hope that everybody out there has plans to go and get this book. The four financial languages.
One of the relationships that a lot of people don't look at are board of directors. If you sit on a board, you have 9, 10, 12, well, you usually have an odd number, but you have 9, 13 or whatever. You have board members, other people that think about money, communicate about money differently. and you all need to make a solid decision about a budget to be able to support a nonprofit or to support a business or whatever, right? And so that may be a lot of over people's head, but there's a lot of people that are sitting on board of directors and they're arguing about the budget. Church, when you're sitting on church boards, the trustees think one way, the deacons think one way, everybody thinks one way, and everybody needs money to fulfill everything. And so this is a valuable tool when you can identify people's financial language and then learn how to communicate to them in their financial language.
I love that. This is just like such an invaluable conversation, and I'm so grateful that you came to bring this to us today. I'm just thinking, what is coming up for me? There's a question that's like bubbling right in my mind, and I think it really relates to just our folks in Juneteenth and the impacts that money and our lack of knowledge of money have had on us. So you spoke about supporting housewives and folks like that. And I know that we're spenders, but what are some of the other things that have people fall into pitfalls financially that like people don't consider and maybe blind to that we walk into often? One of the things that comes up for me is just you're online. We're online all the time and all these things come across. Like, what are some of the ways that you tell people to help control spending or over-investing, under-investing? What would you advise for folks that don't have a sense of direction there?
Well, the more information you have, the more better decisions you can make. You can make, not saying you will make them, okay? Just because you know better doesn't mean you're going to do better. It means that you now have the tools to make better decisions so that you can do better. Because I know better. I know what to do to lose this weight. I know better. Am I mentally ready to do better? That's a whole different conversation, right? That's why I talked about the motivation. I have to do better because of my health. I don't want to go to the gym, but heck, if I want to stay alive, I guess my butt needs to go to the gym or do something, right?
If Juanita wants to be able to keep up with
if
her young
Juanita wants to
boyfriend,
catch up and be ready, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So, unless it's fun, like Juanita, this is what I want to do at 50. I want to look like Angela Bassett when she was Tina Turner. So I'm going to need to do what I need to do to at least halfway get there, right? So it's a part of the motivation. And a lot of people, they think ignorance is bliss. Ignorance is not bliss. It's expensive as hell. The less you know, the more expensive everything costs. The less you know, the lower your credit score is, the more everything costs. From utilities, credit, everything costs more with a lower credit score. And if you don't understand how a credit score is made up, how to fix it, how to create it, how to manage it, then you're always going to be bound by what people say that how much you have to pay, instead of you walking in and determining what you want, right? I call it the Idris Elba versus Biggie Smalls effect. Okay, don't judge. Okay, I love me some Biggie though, but I'm just saying, before Biggie Smalls had money, let's go there. Before Biggie had money,
I'm following.
Okay, when he got some money, he looked really, really good. But I'm just saying, before Biggie got money, a lot of people's credit score kind of looked like that. When he walks up in the club, there's not a lot of females checking for him. Let's be real, right? Idris Elba, whether he has money or not, we checking. I'm checking. Let me not generalize it. I'm checking.
I think most of us are checking.
I'm checking, okay? And so financial institutions are the same way, superficial. Your credit score, how sexy is your credit score, will determine if they're going to give you what they can give you and you get what you get, or they throw everything at you and you can choose what you want. You want to be able to choose what you want, right? And the United States, having a good credit score will allow you to have opportunities to get OPM, other people's money, to be able to finance certain things. You need to understand the difference between credit and debt, right? Credit helps to leverage and get you the things you want. Debt is the credit you can't pay, or that is a burden you can't pay. And when credit turns into debt, that's when it becomes bad credit. People say, what's good credit and bad credit? Good credit is the credit you can afford to pay.
I love your realness.
Let's work it out. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, houses are good credit. Not if you can't afford the mortgage.
Mm,
Not if
mm.
you foreclose.
The tax, all that good stuff that comes with it.
You know what I'm saying? So the understanding the realness of the information that you get, understand what a real asset is. An asset, my home is not an asset until I can make money off of that. I make money off assets. I used to tell my son this when he was 2. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take money out your pocket. And we had to determine, when he was 5, what is an asset, what is a liability. And you do that with friends and family members and jobs. Once you understand the object of that game, that assets put something within you and liabilities take stuff out of from you, then that's going to help you to understand the whole line of dealing with money. Because a lot of people are buying a whole lot of things, or they think they're investing in things that are actually liabilities, and they wonder why they're cash broke. So I think a lot of the challenges with us is not that we're stupid, we're smart, we're resilient. We built this country. I'm just saying, we built a couple countries, a lot of nations. So it's not like we don't have the capacity to do it. We just some of us have this what is it, entitlement, this entitlement mentality, that, or I call it the narcissistic mentality. I worked hard for this, I did this, I deserve this. They did this to my ancestors, so they should give me this. And if you live off of that, you're not going to get anything. If anything, I want to learn what they know, and I want to win their game. And if you don't want to play the game, don't complain about the rules. It's like, consumers are playing checkers and financial institutions are playing chess. You got to learn that chess game. And the rules are just sitting out there waiting for us to learn them. It's not like they're hidden.
I love it. Thank you for all of those gems. So many, so many, so many gems. I'm like, I wish we could go on and on and on all day.
Yeah, I get a little passionate about stuff like this.
Right? I can tell. And it actually, and what I love about what happens when passion and purpose clash, it draws people in. I'm drawn all in, and I'm definitely I'm already following you. And if not, I think I am. I'm almost sure I'm already following you. If not, I already have you on you're already on my search thing for about 2 weeks now. I've been keeping my eye on you and just seeing, getting a feel for who you are and who I'd be sitting with today. So it's an honor to connect with you, an honor to have you here with us. I would love for you to share with the community what you offer, what can they come to you for outside of the books, which are Financial Fornication and the 4 Financial Languages. Let them know if you offer services or where they could follow you. And then I would love for you to answer this last final question, and that would be, what does Juneteenth mean to you?
Oh, wow. So I offer speaking engagements. I do a lot of speaking engagements. I do training sessions, especially for couples, for churches, and for marriage counselors for the 4 financial languages, especially for churches. I do lessons for couples for the 4 financial languages. I facilitate training workshops for youth called the Young Money series. So really excited.
If you need a moment to get a little water, it's totally fine.
Yeah, thanks.
Of course.
So the Young Money series, I teach them about credit, cream, credit rules everything around me, saving versus investing, who wants to be a millionaire, salary negotiation called You're Hired, and student loans called Save Me Sally Mae. And so each of those has a game that's tied to the lesson. So I love facilitating that, but I'm a facilitator and international public speaker, if you will. You can go to my website at madamoney.com to learn more about me, MADAMMONEY.com, or follow me on all social media, Ms. Madamoney, MSMADAMMONEY. Love to love on y'all. So what does Juneteenth mean to me? Juneteenth means a celebration of dignity, honor, power, that despite what we've been through, we continue to be resilient. And even from then, even though we were told and, we found out late, we were still resilient. Even to this day, we are still resilient with everything that's going on, police brutality, with, underserved communities, with abuse, all the things that is still happening. We maintain resilience. And it's no longer just for survival. It's just a part of our DNA. It's a part of our DNA is the resilience. And Juneteenth for me is the celebration of that resilience that we've always had, that we currently have, and that we will continue to have. And now that we're celebrating, we can really celebrate, educate others, but also educate our children on the resiliency to make them resilient as well.
Ashe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Miss Tara Jackson, aka Madam Money, and you can find her on social media platforms at Miss MS Madam Money. And we are honored to have you here with us today. Thank you
so much. Thank you.
So welcome.
All right, community. I hope that you guys are really enjoying today's programming. Up next, we have a gentleman named Reverend Brandon Smith. Reverend Brandon Smith has been engaged with spiritual, religious, and metaphysics for the last 8 years. Today, he's here to talk to us and kind of give us an idea of how numerology and Juneteenth mesh together, and give us an opportunity to see, if you're not into numerology, an opportunity to see what it's all about and to ask questions. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this segment. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Reverend Brandon Smith, and I am an astronumerologist. I'm the founder and CEO of Be Well Energy Wellness. And Be Well Energy Wellness is a holistic wellness practice where we combine the sciences of astrology, numerology. We look at aromatherapy, energy healing, particularly the modality known as pranic healing. And then we also use a few other methods. And particularly tonight's discussion will be around numerology and how we can utilize that really in a number of areas of our lives. Some of us may have some idea about numerology as it relates to like our destiny numbers. Everyone knows about the master number 11 and all of that kind of stuff. But tonight we'll go, just a little bit deeper into it. And then we'll also look at from the Juneteenth holiday, June 19th, what that could look like, or at least an interpretation of that from a metaphysical perspective in terms of where we are today and how we can, utilize the energies of this number. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we will present. And so our conversation tonight is going to go is entitled From Numbers to Numbers. And we're looking at the power of numbers using numerology. And so really quickly, a definition of what numerology is that numerology is essentially the study of numbers or the meaning behind the numbers. This particular method is considered to be a science, an ancient African science that has its roots going back to the schools of Alexandria in Egypt, and also in Babylonian culture. And so they consider them to be a science along with like astrology, palmistry, and a few others because of three particular characteristics. Number one is that they're reliable, they're accurate, and repeatable. So if I take a particular, say, and we'll get more into this later, say a particular person's birthday, or if I have 10 people's birthday, I can apply the same approach or the same calculation, and it's going to give me some type of response. And then what numerology does, say, for example, my birthday is October the 20th. So I would take 10, 20 in the year that I'm born, 1988, and then that gives me a particular number. I'll add it up, and I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but just so you have an idea of the repeatable or the repetitiveness of numerology, from that number, it gives me a particular number which called the life path or the destiny number. And what in numerology, what this represents is what the soul comes to do and things like that. So there are a number of different approaches that we can use, from the name, from the birthday, that's going to reveal to us a number of different things. And some of those things that can reveal to us could be what's the soul's purpose for coming into this particular lifetime. Some people have different belief systems as it relates to incarnation and reincarnation. I don't necessarily want to get into that argument, but we all come into this particular lifetime with a purpose. And so what numerology as a science, when we look at the month, the day, and the year that we're born, this tells us what is our soul's purpose? What are the lessons that we've come into this particular lifetime to learn? And then also, what are the things that we've come to learn not to do? So I believe it was Shakespeare who says, to be or not to be is the question. And that is symbolic, where it talks about what is our soul's purpose. Because we all come to learn particular lessons of things to do and also of things not to do. Also, it can indicate to us seasons and cycles, or like, say, for example, if, the year of 2020, for some people, it was a very rough year. The pandemic came, and, there was this all sorts of stuff going on. And then for other people, 2020 it wasn't that bad of a year. For me, I published a book, I launched a business, some other things were able to take place. I know some people who made out very well in 2020. So how is it that all of us can go through a particular year, but all of us will have each our own individual experiences or different experiences? And so what numerology does is we'll look at the month, the day, and then the particular year that we're in. And then that's going to tell us what you're going through for that particular calendar year. Or then we could look at, say, what are some of the challenges and strengths that may come up throughout life, health indicators, career indicators, and, a lot of other things. With numerology, what I tell people is, and how I learned it from my teacher, Lloyd Strayhorn, is that numerology, it puts up spotlights in the street. So it's not going to change the condition of your road, and nor is it going to predict, or like fortune telling, so to say, but it puts up these spotlights so that way we can see, we should probably be careful of this, or this particular area we may need to watch out for. This is a good direction to go in. And so these are just some of the ways and benefits of being able to use numerology. And so, brief history. In numerology, there are multiple systems, but they derive from two main systems. And then, of course, all of us who went to school, we all know about Pythagoras' theorem. I've yet to use it in everyday life to this day. I don't know why they made me go through it, of learning it in school. But Pythagoras, the father or the creator of that particular theory, he is credited to be considered the father of modern numerology, or the father of the modern science of numbers. And here's the issue with that, is that we have this Greek philosopher who travels down to Egypt, into the schools of Alexandria and several other places throughout Africa for 25 years to study. And then he returns back to Greece to declare himself as the father of mathematics and the father of numerology. So how I tell people is that what Pythagoras did is that he just let us know where it really came from. So even in the context of Juneteenth and looking at liberation as a people of color and a people of African descent, the reason why I think we can look at embracing, or even just kind of becoming a little more curious about some of these tools and some of these sciences, is because they actually belong to us. These are ancient African sciences that, truth be told, they existed long before the pyramids. And then we have, so that's the Pythagorean system. And then we have what's called the Chaldean system, which is a little more ancient, which may go back in terms of dating, maybe 300 to 500,000 years ago. And so that's just a little brief history of numerology. And so how it works. Essentially, as I said earlier, it unveils information about a person, a place, or an event using a birthday, a name, or a date. So what this essentially tells us is that whether I'm reading a person or consulting with a person, or say if there's a particular event that's coming up and it's going to be on, say, June 19th, I know that that particular day is a one day, or because when you look at the numbers 1 and 9 and you add those two together, which is called the FADIC system, FADIC. And what that does is that gives us that root number of between 1 through 9. And so the number 1, and we'll get into the interpretation of the numbers, but that gives us an idea of what that energy of the day could be like, or of that particular event, or a person who's born on that particular day. And then we'll talk about the names also, how this particular science, it transposes the letters into numbers. And so we're able to calculate and analyze what are different traits within a person's name. And within the name, you have your last name and the first name, and they both reveal just different traits about it. So really how it all works, I know it sounds deep and it sounds like it could be complicated, like, oh my God, what is all of this stuff? It really works off of simple mathematics. Addition, I would say that 90% of the calculations in numerology is simple addition. Now, there are some books that you may read where they go into, multiplication and stuff. That's more modern stuff that's come along later. But when we look at like the core of numerology, simple addition, and the numbers that you work from literally go from 1 to 9. And I think a good bit of us, we've got the ability to figure out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or if not, we can have someone, hey, what comes after 5? All right, what comes after 6? All right, and there's nothing that comes after 9. After 9, you have 10. And remember, I said if you have a compound digit, you add those two together. So after 9, we have 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So it technically starts back over again. So this goes into really deeper lessons about cycles and how everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So for all of our conclusions, whether we're analyzing your name, your birthday, we're just going to use simple mathematics, and we'll give you some examples really shortly. So I talked a little bit about the life path, what the soul comes into this particular lifetime to do. In some books, you may discover it, or even online, as the destiny number or your life path number. I'm trying to see if there are any other names. Those are the two most common: the destiny soul number, and the soul path number. So essentially what this represents the school or the grade of life that we're in. So if we're in, say, the first grade, and we'll get into the interpretation of numbers, what it tells me is that the soul is coming to this lifetime to be original, to be creative, to be independent, to stand up for itself in some way, different types of things. And remember, I told you we use simple addition. So if I were to take your birthday, my birthday in particular, 10/20/88, and I'll show you that on our upcoming screens, is we'll show how the simple addition we're able to do. Okay, this is what your soul is here to do. Now, with numerology and any other thing, you do not have to take this at face. As gold and as gospel. For me, this is just another path of being able to understand yourself, being able to understand others. The work that I do, I consult a lot of parents who have children who may say, how can I work better with my child? Okay, so we'll look at the child's name and birthday and what their soul is supposed to be doing. And that way we can figure out how to work best with them and different things like that. The soul or the life path number, it can indicate persons that we may attract throughout our life or who may play important roles in our life. It can indicate particular surroundings or events or places that a particular individual may encounter. And so here's just a real quick breakdown. And this is, of course, not all of the meanings, but just in terms of being able to have a basic understanding, some of the meanings of the numbers. We have the number 1, which means and if you want to screenshot this, absolutely feel free. The number 1, which essentially at its core means being original, being creative, represents leadership, and being inventive, or having a sense of like independence, or even like independent thinking, or the desire to be number 1 or to be first. Number 2 deals with partnership, harmony, balance, diplomacy, working well with others, and tactfulness and things like that. The number 3 is creativity, popularity, artistic, expressive in nature. The number 4 likes to be unique, different. The number 4 also rules organization, structure, the foundation, also using logic and reason and thinking. The number 5 is adaptable, curious, versatile. This is a number that's about fun, that's about freedom, that's about traveling. So let's say if a person who's born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of any month, I may suggest that this person likes their freedom, or they may like to travel, or they may like to have a little bit more fun. The number 6 deals with duties, responsibilities, the family. Also, all things that are beautiful, whether it's people, places, events, things, words, music, poetry, art, real estate, property, all these different things that are within the number 6. The number 7 is a number of sophistication, the number that's very analytical, very very knowledgeable, very intuitive. Also, the number 7 are persons who may be born on the 7th, the 16th, or 25th. They may be a little more quiet, or may tend to be to themselves more than being around others. The number 8 deals with status, recognition, achievement. This is also what we call the pregnancy number. My teacher, he's pretty funny when he teaches it. He says women can't spell pregnancy like men can't spell commitment. So what pregnancy means in this concept is not always a literal pregnancy, but sometimes it could be given birth to an idea, or given birth to a concept, or a vision, or a dream, or something along those lines. And so men also go through pregnancy cycles where they may give birth to ideas or concepts or businesses and different things of that nature, or they may have children, or there may be people around them who may say, hey, I'm having a child, or you're going to be an uncle or auntie, whatever the case may be. The 8 is also connected to the ancestors. So this is a number that is usually connected to the past, whether it's past events, people, places. And when I say ancestors, it doesn't always necessarily mean those who have gone on before us, but this could be like the grounds or the houses or the land that they lived on. And, there could be some sort of connection in that regard. And then the number 9, there are a few others that we call the master numbers, but just for basic simplicity's sake, we'll just go from the numbers 1 through 9. The 9 deals with endings, completions, dreams fulfilled, also humanitarian service, or being able to see like the broader pictures, the art, and different things like that. So these are just some basic meanings of the numbers. Of course, when you start looking at, what does it mean to be a number 1? It means that your birthday is on a number that adds up, say, to the number 1. So that could be regardless of what month it is. It could be January 1st, February 19th. It could be March the 10th. It could be August the 28th. All of those numbers, just the number adds up to the number 1. So that would be how you could identify what number am I in terms of personality. And we get astrology as a whole nother conversation that, we could talk about later. Right here, just a quick, breakdown of the names. This is my name on top, my daughter's name is on the bottom. On the side here, you'll see where we have the alphabet, the numbers 1 through 9. Again, that's why we work with in numerology, those 2 particular numbers, the numbers 1 through 9. And then we just write out the alphabet so that each letter is under a corresponding number. And so when I come over here to where my names are, I'll take each letter so the B is the second letter of the alphabet, I'll put the 2. R is under the 9, so that's the 18th letter of the alphabet, boom, and so on and so forth. So when you're breaking down the name, you'll then don't be confused. I just put the vowels on top so I can do a different calculation. You can do it all underneath. It doesn't necessarily have to be this particular way, but essentially you want to transpose each letter to a number, and then once you do that, you add all of those across. It gives me a 5, or 32, and 3 plus 2 is 5. My last name is a 24, 2 plus 4 is 6. And then what I do is this is more my family information, the last name. So this tells me what I've likely inherited from my family and things like that. Whereas my first name tells me what makes me different from the rest of my family. What makes me unique, or whatever the case is. And then when I add these 2 together, my first and last name together, I get what we call the expression. So usually in numerology, I would be considered a master number 11. Usually when you have the 11, you don't simplify it to the 2, but that's a whole nother conversation. So that's essentially how you break down the names. Now with my daughter, if you look, she has 2 R's and 1 I. That's the number 9. The number 9, and this is just something to be cautious of when we're naming children. There's certain vibrations that carry different energies, and the number 9 rules the planet Mars, which is the planet of war. And so sometimes my daughter, she could be a little hot-headed. She can give me the business with her eyes and with her attitude, with her tone, and they'll raise her volume above maybe like a 4 or 5, but she can just test me and she'll go there with me, especially, and her mom and my sister and everybody else. So sometimes you want to be cautious of what are the numbers that are within the name. So these are another ways in which we can utilize these sciences so we can ensure our children and the generations going forward have, good vibrations to their name. And if you're interested in getting in contact with me to learn more about numerology, you can visit my website, www.b-wellenergywellness.com. You can email me at brandon@b-wellenergywellness.com. My contact number, 866-649-6211. You can text or call at that number, or follow me on Instagram at b.well.energy.wellness. And this essentially is just a little bit of my journeys since 2016, starting in basic pranic healing, learning numerology, and going through a number of other healing programs and certification. And so I hope this presentation was insightful and, fascinating in some kind of way, or maybe it may have sparked some sort of curiosity. And so definitely would encourage you to reach out to me so we can learn how to demystify some of these sciences, especially that may have some stigmas as it relates to from like religion and, all those different aspects. And of course, I told y'all I'm a reverend. I've been ordained. And so a lot of people say, how can you be a reverend and you do this energy healing? I got a zodiac chart sitting right here on my wall. For me, there is no separation between the two. And so let's look at how we can demystify these sciences so we can really use them to help us to, be in the best position for our lives. So thank you very much for your time this evening. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Lorna Brown, and I'm here with my business, Soul Quotes by CWI. As a playwright and the owner of Creative Worship Inc., CWI, creating inspirational quotes is my passion, and I'm thrilled to be here with you all today to share more about our offerings. At Soul Quotes, we believe in spreading positivity through powerful words and beautiful designs. Our inspirational quotes are available on various products such as t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, wall decors, throw pillows, coasters, baby clothing, and baby blankets. Each piece is crafted with love, with care, and attention to details. But Soul Quotes by CWI is so much more than just a business that sells amazing products. We are a faith-based community theater that offers plays and poems and chorus speeches for sale on our website. These products are perfect for schools, churches, and anyone else looking for a family-friendly show. Our plays deals with important topics such as bullying, homelessness, and mental health issues, just to name a few. Most importantly, they offer hope to those who watch them. We have a foster closet initiative to help supply care baskets to children in foster care and to provide them with essential supplies as needed. We plan on supporting them with school supplies, baby care items, winter care items, and other necessary supplies. In addition, we donate our time and products to the community as needed and are a monthly donor to St. Jude's Partner in Hope. As CWI, we want to make sure that children and young people know that their situation does not determine their future and who they are. We aim to offer hope and encourage them to participate in CWI in whatever field interests them. I am also thrilled to announce that we plan to bring our school theaters to schools in the next year, with free shows at the beginning of each fall to motivate the students for the new school year. 10% of each show's proceeds will go towards our foster closet initiative. Moreover, we are working towards a brick and mortar location where children interested in the performing arts can have a place to go and learn more about it. I invite you all to check out my online booth this Juneteenth New York City Festival during the weekend of June 16th, where you'll see exclusive collections of our products. Our team is always here to answer your questions, and we are always apt to spread positivity and hope through our inspirational quotes and products. Thank you for stopping by, and we hope you have a fabulous Juneteenth celebration. Thank you.